Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Renegade Operative here, coming at you live with another late night reaction video for the masses. Today, I received some readily disappointing news as a Silent Hill fan and as a fan of psychological horror in general. It seems that the project that was playable teaser known as PT, the bridge into a project known as Silent Hills, is officially being delisted from the PlayStation Store as of Wednesday, the 29th, 2015. There was really no concise reason that this was being removed from the PlayStation Store, but as we all are aware of, the terrible news didn't stop there. Not long afterward, there was some journalists that was picking up on the story at the 58th San Francisco International Film Festival. Del Toro broke silence, and Matt Hackney, a journalist that was there at the time at the event, had the following quote to post on social media outlet known as Twitter, and he was citing that the collaboration between him and Kojima is not going to happen, and that breaks my greasy heart. This congregated some rumors that the game could be heading into like an effective cancellation and shit. And Norman Reedus himself, the main actor that they showed at the end of the PT demo, stated the following: "Super bummed about this, was really looking forward to it. Hopefully it'll come back around. Sorry everyone." To add further specifics if the game is being canned or not, IGN had the following to state: "It's important to note that Del Toro was speaking only on collaborating with Kojima, not whether or not the game has been cancelled. You have to go after Konami for those answers," our source said. It's really up in the air if this title will be cancelled, whether Silent Hills is going to be outsourced to a different company or a different team. Maybe a different team or company that has Del Toro as the lead. We don't know yet. This could either end up in that direction or it can end up as possible vaporware entirely, never to be heard from or talked about again if Konami decides to keep their mouth shut. As a fan, I could honestly say that this is another devastating blow to hit close to home. As a longtime Silent Hill fan, I had a vision of hope for this. As we all know, Silent Hill has been through the motherfucking ringer with outsourcing out of the ass after the infamous administration of Tom Hewlett. And I tried to pick up Silent Hill Downpour around a year ago, expecting some excitement out of the game, something that could reel me back into the rusty, foggy, disgusting beauty that was that town. Something that could hold a next-gen precedent to terrific games like Dead Space 1, and what I got was a 15 FPS dipping, lackluster experience that only got vastly monotonous as the playthrough progressed for me. PT, it was important because it sparked my interest back into this rather dormant series. The demo certainly didn't disappoint me in that regard either. When you got ghastly Lisa around every corner, you have the chilling sound effects, the noises, the changes to the loop hallway, the murder story, and the very confusing game design in order to try to escape with your sanity intact. I believe that Kojima's fourth wall mime games was quintessential for Silent Hill's revival. Del Toro and some pics from the old Silent Hill Team Silent on board, and some of them actually work for Koji Pro. They were just layers and layers on an already wonderful cake. And I'm not sure how I can tell you what honestly went wrong with Hideo Kojima and the upper management at Konami. It seemed that things were going so well last year, and when they made him executive producer, and then we have situations where this abhorrent mess hits hard, and it seems like Kojima's going to leave for good. To be honest, the outlook of Silent Hills looks as bleak as it possibly could be. Not to mention that Kojima's collaboration and Del Toro just is falling apart at the seams, And the worst possible situation is already coming when Metal Gear ends with Metal Gear Solid 5, and then they try to move on and get a new development team already, and you have Donna Burke saying things are not going that great, when so many insiders are saying things aren't going well in Konami's house. You know there's a problem, and you know that there's not a falsehood going around with Kojima possibly departing. We don't know how that's gonna go. Konami has not released any official statement in light of the developments, but one thing is for sure, I will hold the past dearly to me, as these games I've embraced as digital art. They have marvelous design. Metal Gear, Silent Hill, the memory that I garnered from these IPs, Castlevania, Contra, they will not be tarnished. As much as I feel obligated to rant, scream, and yell about Konami's practices and how they aren't kosher to me, the future is just not yet set. There could be some optimism, and Konami could either sell their IPs, they could make them better, or they can go the way of the dodo, or they can end up like Capcom. Yeah. And that's not the best news that any fan will love to hear at the moment. I hope that they rekindle some magic and bring it back to form, and I hope that if Kojima leaves, that he can make his own studio and decide to make a few successors along the line. You never know what could happen until you honestly see it. I can only give my input of hope, and I hope that some sense is seen within the office doors of Konami, not to abandon a good legacy for apathetic quantity over quality. And this is just a breaking update that I'm going to add at the end of the video. I feel that my initial thoughts are going to remain solidary to what I said, but the following update is as described. This was apparently sent to Eurogamer by Konami themselves, and the Japanese company has specifically said that they will develop Silent Hill games, but it still fails to say whether to confirm or deny if Silent Hills is really cancelled. There's one interesting nugget of information to glean from all this, and that's the fact that it appears that Norman Reedus' contract has expired with Konami. The Q&A session details the following. Why has the image of Norman Reedus disappeared from the official site? That's because our contract period with him has expired. Why is PT no longer available on PlayStation Network? Because the distribution period has expired. What will happen in regard to Silent Hill? Konami Digital Entertainment will continue to develop the Silent Hill series. What will happen in regard to PT? PT was purely created as a playable teaser for Silent Hill. And what do you mean by playable teaser? It was the trial edition of Silent Hills intended to give players an idea of the original game concept. I firmly believe that this means that the game is probably going to be worked on by scratch if Silent Hill is going to purely be created by Konami Digital Entertainment. So I think that maybe the concept of Silent Hills is dead and they're going to start over, or worst case scenario, full-on cancellation of everything Silent Hill related, which is still disheartening no matter how you look at it. I will leave the Eurogamer story in the description, and I also have put it on the screen so you guys can enjoy that nugget of information. Again, this is Renegade Operative signing off. Tell me, what are your thoughts about the possible cancellation of Silent Hills and this new nugget of information that details that Konami Digital Entertainment will continue to develop the Silent Hill series. Are you guys still optimistic for this series even after the departure of Kojima, or do you feel that Konami has rode their last sail, if you will? Let me know in the comments. This is Renegade Operative signing off. Have a pleasant day.